When I was 13, I picked up a gaming magazine. Hey, remember when those were a thing? And I thought it looked pretty cool, so I decided to buy it. And what I mean by buy it is I begged my mum to get it for me, and eventually I wore her down like a boxer. I'm like Muhammad Ali and she was one of his opponents, like a fucking Rocky or something. So, lo and behold, she bought it for me, and little 13-year-old me was in love with video games even more than I already was. When I was finished gawking over the E3 2013 section, hey, remember when those were a thing? I got to the review section, and the big review of the month was for a little game called The Last of Us. I don't know if you've heard of it, I'm pretty sure it's based on a TV show, so it can't be that good. Anyway, 13-year-old me read the review and then saw the score, and I made up my mind then that I needed to play that game right away.
Give it to me. You can tell them I took it by force.
I was obsessed with it, watching all the trailers and reading all the reviews I could find for it. I was an addict, I was addicted, and the only thing that could scratch my itch was to play it for myself. There was only one problem though. The game is rated R18+ here in Australia, the highest and most mature rating you can have. So when I begged my dad to get it for me, he laughed in my face and said it was the easiest no he's ever said. I think after that conversation, my addicted self was fucking pissed. It wasn't until like 4 or 5 years later that I finally played it as a 17 or 18 year old, and after I finished my journey of love, loss, heartbreak and finding reasons to live, I sat back and thought, maybe it was a good thing I didn't play this when I was 13. And, you know, all I could think about was typical 13-year-old stuff like boobs and Transformers and stuff like that. And it's not because I thought the game was super violent, which was probably my parents' main concern. It was because little 13-year-old me would not have appreciated or even understood the nuanced story and characters of Joel and Ellie. Again, all I could think about was boobs and Transformers. Optimus with boobs. Whoa.
Whoa. Hey.
So because I waited, or should I say I was forced to wait, I was able to mature to a point where I was able to fully appreciate The Last of Us and its deep and moving narrative, and I was able to have one of my favorite gaming experiences. So what I'm trying to say with that long and amazing story, I mean it should be nominated for an Oscar I reckon, is that it's okay to wait to play a video game. You don't need to play the brand spanking new shiny game if you're not in the mood to play it just because everyone else is playing it and raving about it and saying it's the best thing ever. Video games are a very intimate art form. When you play the game, you are inhabiting the main character, making them move and do some pretty cool shit like jump and roll and have sex if you're Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It is you who are putting your own thoughts and feelings into the character you're playing as. So, if you're not feeling like playing the game and are just doing so because it's popular and is what everyone else is playing, you're basically guaranteed to not have a good time with the game. And I know everyone who plays a game wants to have a good time with it. I mean, that's the main point of playing a game, is to have fun and escape this shitty reality we live in. Another example from me is with Red Dead 2. It came out just before or during my final exams for high school. You know, the most important thing ever in your life up to that point that, to be honest, really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. The game came out during a very stressful time for me, and I was seeing clips and reviews of it everywhere. It was safe to say that I was very excited and keen to play it, but instead of getting it as soon as it came out, I waited until after my final exams were finished. So, while everyone else I knew my age was out partying and celebrating the end of high school like normal, cool 18-year-olds, I was at home playing Red Dead 2 all day for like a week, fully immersing myself into this absolutely incredible game, because I'm a cool guy too, okay? If I didn't wait to play it, I would have been stressed out about my final exams while playing it for the first time, which would have led me to not having a good time with it. Instead, I waited until the initial release hype had died down and until I was ready to play the game, not when everyone else was playing it, and I ended up having probably the greatest gaming experience I've ever had. I have a lot more examples, like my bag goes deep, okay? I waited for like a year to finally play Death Stranding, and I'm still waiting to play God of War Ragnarok and the new Star Wars game. Both of them I'm very excited to play. And am I sad about not playing them initially when they came out? No, not really, because no matter when you play the game, the story and gameplay will always be the same. What I'm trying to say is that it's okay to miss out on the initial hype and release of a game. With everyone living their life online nowadays, it's easy to get hit with the classic case of FOMO. When you haven't played a game that everyone is talking about, it can feel like you're out of the loop and missing out on something incredible. But the thing is, you have to want to play it in order to have a good experience. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you, Derek, from Uzbekistan. Alright, I know you're watching, okay? And whether that means waiting 3 weeks or 5 years to finally play a game, as long as you're in the mood and ready to go, that's all that matters. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go play Pong. I've waited over 50 years to play this game, and I think I'm finally in the right mood to get sucked into this magical and immersive world of balls being hit back and forth. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. Worth the hype.